I think that recorded, Dean. You got your lipstick on, so you're looking good. This is the Bite Me podcast. That's a little behind the curtain view of what Dean does right before we come on air. Puts lipstick on.
My lip gloss.
Yeah, man. All right, so this is the Bite Me podcast. I'm John Lopez. That is Captain Dean Thomas with those ruby red lips. If you're looking at on the YouTube stream live, little gloss action working as well. Captain Scott Null, clearly fresh off the water, still has his sunglasses propped on the top of his ball cap. And Captain Caleb McCumber. Got some more good topics today. You can always count on the Bite Me listeners to come through for you with some topics and questions and some other stuff. And yeah, let's get started, man. We got a lot to cover. It's a big week. We're probably going to start there, but remember to subscribe to the podcast. And anywhere you get your podcast, you can do that. Certainly the YouTube live stream. We get a pretty good number of people every week watching live, asking questions live, etc. But the vast majority of our listeners from around the country listen on the podcast. So however you want to do it, we are here for you. We are live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. We are posting the podcast usually about 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, and we are going to be live at Coasters at Con Brown Harbor in Aransas Pass, Texas on Saturday. And I promise you two things. It's going to be a lot of fun based on some of the things that certainly we've been able to cobble together. Some of the great raffle prizes, $50 can get you any number of things. I posted that on the Facebook group page, which you should probably join on Facebook. Just search the Bite Me podcast and you'll find it. Live auction items are off the chart. Silent auction items, I think we're going to be over 30 packages on the silent auction, and it's going to be a ton of fun. And the other thing I want to promise you, right after I put the last table or chair on my truck or whatever we do, I'm going to get drunk. So I will be getting drunk on Saturday, and that is a promise. And so sometimes you can predict it. One of those days.
We're going to hit the Alejandro Margarita Bar.
Yeah, we're going to hit the margarita bar, maybe throw in a little, I've been on this rum kick because Dean's been making some great rum drinks. I might throw in a little rum. Go ahead and mix the alcohol. That's always nice and healthy.
Maybe John will pee on someone.
Well, I've done that before. If you listen to the podcast religiously, you do know that. But it's going to be fun.
There are a lot of people sleeping in the alleys of Aransas Pass, so the opportunity is there.
They're sleeping in my alley. What are you talking about?
Yes, you won't have to go far.
That people might be park off.
He's donated something as well. I'm pretty sure I've got just about everything other than what people are going to bring to the event. Like Scott's bringing some stuff, and I know Dean has some stuff at his house. Caleb's not bringing anything. We've got some other stuff that people are bringing, sawgrass rods and such, etc. But it'll be a blast. Don't forget a couple things, and then we'll get into the topics because we have some good fishing stuff to talk about here, and that's what this podcast is about. Don't forget that there will be ticket sales at the door. Because I believe Gene Crush, by the way, benefiting Texas Boys Outdoors and Heroes on the Water, Gene Crush from Texas Boys Outdoors is going to shut down the online purchasing just so we can have a good number and a good list of people at the gate. Later this week, I'll let you know, but I think it's going to be Thursday when she shuts down. You still want to come? Just show up. You can get them at the gate. You can get raffle tickets at the event. Yeah, we're going to have the 50-50 jackpot on the casting contest. My only marching orders for the three captains in front of me were bring a bait bucket. I know you guys aren't bait guys, but bring a bait bucket. Y'all all got your bait buckets?
Funny enough, it's just like anything else. Something's in your way for a year, and then when you need it, you look to where it was sitting at, and it ain't there.
They were cool bait buckets.
After we said that the other day, I found mine, and it does still have the tickets from last year in it.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, we probably need to dump those. Probably need to dump those out.
Yeah, what are the rules again? Go over the rules again.
All right, over the rules.
Nibble on the little tickets you had in there, Dean?
We're going to take the tickets.
Yeah.
I figured the croaker probably nibbled on them.
We're going to have the raffle boat on site. And my idea, we're going to have other boats on site as well from the boat yard and et cetera. But we're going to have the raffle boat on site. It has been completed. I posted one picture as a sneak peek on the group page, and it's going to be on site. Y'all are going to stand on the bow of the raffle boat and cast at the bait bucket, 10 yards, 20 yards, and 30 yards. Your own bait bucket. People are going to put their tickets. If they think Scott's going to win, they'll buy, I think it's $20. And ultimately, half the money goes to the charities and half the money goes to the person. Last year was over $500 that somebody walked out, 500 cash.
It goes to the person casting?
No, you don't get anything. It goes to the person whose name we draw from the bucket.
Oh, you just said the person.
I didn't even get a tip last year when I kicked y'all's asses.
No, you're not going to get a tip. You're not going to get a tip.
You ain't getting one again.
Plant your corn early. That's the tip. And that's the tip. 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards. Somebody said on the live page, bounces count. Bounces do not count. We're going to have people there where it hits. And they're going to mark it with like some sort of marker that we're going to have. And you're going to get 2 shots at each distance. And the judges' rule goes. So
what are we throwing?
The lure of your choice. The lure, rod, reel of your choice. Just take the bar.
So at 10 yards, we're all throwing at the same bait bucket, right?
No, you're throwing at your bait bucket. So you can practice with your own bait bucket. We're going to switch them out.
They're all the same.
Well, we could conceivably do it, but just work with me here for the flair for the dramatic.
Well, I mean, seriously though, like where your bucket at, if you got to stand on the left side of the boat to cast, the dude on the right side is going to have an edge on you.
No, it's going to be one at a time. You can stand wherever you want.
Oh, you're going to pick the bucket up and go put the other one there?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the next guy's going to cast, or just throw it the same one.
I don't know why I didn't think of y'all doing that.
and now I'm getting confused. Yeah, so everything should be great weather. Knock on wood. Scott, you've been scaring me all week long because you haven't said anything about the weather, and I'm worried about that. But should be great weather. We're gonna have some fun. Don't be bashful, listeners, about coming up to these guys and chopping it up a little bit because they're great guys. I can attest to that. Bring your generosity. We have the raffle, of course, but the silent and live auctions, like I said, you can go see right now on the Bite Me group page, and we'll be good to go. I'll be getting there Thursday. Go ahead, Caleb.
Question: if we can't find our bucket, do we just bring a different bucket?
Sure, bring any bait bucket you want. We'll slap your name on it. Yeah.
Does anybody in the crowd have a trailer I can borrow to bring my bucket down?
He's gonna bring one of those big water vats, those ones that you put on those sustainable homes. No, they have to be the same size.
Oh, okay, never mind. Proceed.
Kroger soaker bucket.
Yeah. Take the dead croaker out of your bait bucket when you bring it. All right. And John Cargus says on the live stream here, the casting rules are not exactly rocket science. I think he meant science. He said surgery, but or maybe he meant rocket surgery to be ironic. But either way, it's not that. It's fun. And let me do, before we get started, I know I've been saying we're going to get started here on the topics, but a very important shout out because Carrie is not going to be at the event. Dean's better half is not going to be at the event. She has already a scheduled deal out of town. Jan, my wife, Scott's wife. Caleb, is your wife going to be there?
No, my son is though.
Oh, good. But I want to do a special shout out. I actually called her today because it's that important. Carrie has been doing incredible work. Carrie and Dean both. Dean's going to bring the golf cart, which he found out about last week.
Oh, so the reason I looked real suspicious last week when y'all mentioned the golf cart, the battery, the charger something's broken. I can't get the batteries to charge. So it is it's a 36 volt, it's a specific golf cart charger.
Mm-hmm.
And I have disassembled it, put it back together, and mine's out.
Okay, yours is out. We still have a golf cart for people parking further away, but Carrie and Dean both have been doing incredible work. Carrie, in particular, with the butter churn, who's going to cater it, with coasters. Just I want to give her a shout out. My wife, I got home from the Texans game last night, which we probably shouldn't talk about. We can talk about the Aggie game all you want, but we probably shouldn't talk about the Texans game. I got home and she had these little bitty envelopes, and she was filling out the envelope with the names of the people who has RSVP'd, and they're in the first list of the 200 that get the free meal. And she's filling it out, and she's got a ruler, and she's marking out this name and then this name. She spent 3 hours doing that while I was at the game. And of course, she's bringing a bunch of the signs and the silent auction signs and the bid sheets and all that. And of course, Camille from, has been working, her ass off, getting us a bunch of stuff. I mean, you got a pile of stuff, Scott.
Do y'all realize how foolish this event would be without the women behind the scenes?
That's my point. That's my point. Yeah. We'd just be standing there. So like, now what? Well, let's buy a beer.
Hey, let's get drunk.
That's right. So shout out to the people behind the people. Actually, they're in front of the people most of the time, but I wanted to do that. All right, let's get to let's start with the obvious. People are going to be coming down fishing. I know, Scott, you've got a couple of guys that are going to be fishing with you. Is it next week or this weekend? Anyway, I know they're not fishing Saturday, but I know we saw something on the group page. Dean's got a couple of people Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be in the tournament.
No Sunday though. I have refused to.
Why is that,
subject
Dean?
people to that my kind of behavior that's going to happen on Sunday morning.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as coming to Aransas Pass and fishing this week for people who are going to fish in advance, it has been good. We're way away from the full moon. The tide is way up. I like it abnormally high myself personally. Some people complain, oh, it spreads fish thin. It does let me get into places really away from the crowds, the places that don't get beat up a lot. And we have great wind for drifting. And I mean, on paper, it's good. I mean, there's been some trout are starting to intermingle with the redfish on the flats. The days are getting noticeably shorter. I mean, we got teal. There's a lot of migration. There's not a lot of obvious mullet. Water temperature is still hot. The mullet haven't like started rafting up or grouping up or in a obvious migration. But I mean, for the folks that are going to fish this weekend are going to be here. You got great conditions.
Yeah, drag your boat down there. Caleb, I know you were out of town briefly, but what are you hearing? What are you, as far as what's happening?
Man, been catching fish in rivers and intercoastals and drifting. It's great weather to go do it. 10 to 15 miles an hour all week long. I probably be out there a couple of days this week, but we've had not as much rainfall up here, so a lot of things are clearing up and looking good.
Man, I saw that it rained hard in Aransas Pass this morning. But Scott, you got your sunglasses propped on your head. Where were you? What did you see? How'd you do?
I got my butt kicked on the beachfront today.
That happens.
It was a little rougher than they predicted.
Mm-hmm.
We ran across some solid fives today. I mean,
really
big waves. Yeah, it got on up there.
Mm-hmm.
The tarpon, I mean, it's just hard to find them when it gets like that. Last couple of days, thought I found some yesterday, and just they wouldn't do anything if that was tarpon. They weren't acting right.
Mm-hmm.
They came up on the top 2 or 3 times. I mean, I know those were tarpon, but the ones I went and sat on, I was looking at on the depth finder, they wouldn't eat. I don't know what was going on with them. But
plus, you're going up and down, up and down.
Yeah, well, we were ladyfish killers, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we went to the jetties to fish for the little baby tarpon, the ladyfish took over, and we fed a lot of dolphins.
Oh yeah.
Did a lot of hand feeding with the dolphins. They're rolling over on their back, wanting you to scratch their belly and everything. They're hilarious, man. These dolphin over there, man, they've become totally trained. It's SeaWorld on the bay.
That's what Dean wants to see, right? Those
I've been training them to avoid my boat. I'm not gonna say how due to
can't say how
repercussions.
Yeah.
I'm about done with them things.
You guys been practicing your accuracy or just fishing with your accuracy?
I ain't nobody practice nothing. You realize who you're talking to? Sometimes you forget.
up until about 10 minutes ago, we all forgot there was a contest.
Still looking for our buckets, man.
I'm up at 4:30 to go get on the boat and get the boat cleaned and do all that stuff, and then fish 8 hours and then come in and clean stuff up. You really think I want to go stand on the front end of a boat and cast at a bucket?
Yeah.
Hey, I do on a different note, I do have a job for Scott.
Okay.
You would not believe how many seagulls and white pelicans there are in Denver, Colorado. Now, I do know that the white pelicans come down and invade us here in a couple months. I need Scott to find out if them seagulls come with them.
I'm pretty
No
sure
way.
they do.
You think they do?
Yeah.
I don't feel like they have a choice.
They ain't gonna stay up there.
Why did they go up there all? I mean, I get it. It was real nice up there. It was like 55 in the morning, 65 mid morning, and 75 at lunch. I can see why they went there, but I don't feel like birds are as concerned with sweating as I am. Why do they go?
Y'all see Salt Lake?
Yes, most seagull species migrate, though the distance and timing may vary by species and population.
Oh, there you go.
They migrate from their northern summer breeding grounds to warmer southern wintering grounds.
These are the big white ones, like on Pixar. I wonder which species that is.
Whoa, Franklin's gulls travel thousands of miles to South America.
There you go. Those are some big gulls.
And Franklin gulls get around.
Now,
I know of one seagull and one pelican that probably migrated south to Mexico after yesterday and today.
What happened?
They were hooked. And
Oh, God.
hooked. They were just kind of got wrapped up, and they were feeding real heavy on some little Spanish mackerel, and they kind of got in the way.
Now here's another one. If they are in Denver, are they simply just gulls?
Oh, because they're mountain gulls.
Yeah, they ain't seagulls.
They're mountain gulls.
Whoa.
Interesting question from Ian before we get into the redfish topic that we have here. How do you keep your cool when taking your ladies out fishing?
Don't take them. I married one that hates nature.
Well, that's right. You've talked about that. And Scott, you know, your better half is quite good and experienced, you know, at fishing. So it's no big deal.
Yeah, just make sure and tie the knot right. I've had that experience. Make sure I have enough gold spoons.
Yeah.
Make sure there's enough food.
Yes, food and drink, tacos.
Got to have the food. Got to have all that stuff. But it's, I don't want to say it's like fishing with kids, but it's like fishing with kids. Don't keep them out there longer than they want to be out there.
Yeah.
You gotta step back, and it's not your forced march kind of day like you do on your buddies where you say we're staying. No, we're staying. You just kind of gotta go with the flow.
Don't ask Dean this question. Don't do it.
Yeah, Dean, how about you?
Mine's easy, but I mean, you ain't gonna sit out there and grind out a long day either. You know, you're gonna if they ain't biting, we going to the house. It's not gonna be but mine's always cooperative. I mean, the one thing that she does, you know, she don't want to hear any of my advice or such as whatever I think I'm gonna say. I mean, it's best to just leave her alone, let her fish. I mean, she knows what she's looking at, and when the fish are there, I mean, she casts great, catches them. So it's best, I guess, take a step back, you know, just kind of mind your own business on a day like that.
Well, and mine is relatively new in terms of like actually being hardcore about it. So I'm not gonna lie. At first, I had to be really, 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 really patient. But now she'll cast for 6 hours. I mean, it's because she's still got the bug, you know, and we may not be catching. She's still casting. So, yeah, I guess you know, it just depends on each circumstance. But all right, so let's get into this. This is a good question we got 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's about big reds. Are they really mixed in with rat reds more than other fish are mixed in, you know, big and small? And here's the question: when I catch undersized trout, Caleb, I'm gonna start with you on this one. When I catch undersized trout, it seems I'll be catching a lot of undersized trout. But I've had a few days when I've caught some undersized reds and then catch a beautiful slot red mixed in. Is this right, or do reds tend to stay in the same class like other fish do?
They tend to stay in the same class. The times that I find that I'm catching small reds and then boom, a big one, I'm usually drifting an area, and a lot of the times it's not a very good redfish bite at that given time. Rat reds will almost always eat. I don't think there's a time that you have a hard time catching rats. And so in my mind, what's happening is I'm dripping across that flat and the rats are willing to eat. And then I stumble into the big one that he became wanting to eat. But whenever I'm catching a bunch of fish, I don't typically catch rats mixed with good fish. I mean, if I'm catching 26 to 28s, I'm sitting at 26 to 28s with the occasional 31 and the occasional 25. Now that I think about it, unless you're just in a bunch of small fish, I'm not sure we catch a lot of rats at all when we're on good big fish and there's a good feed going on.
Yeah. Scott, what I was going to ask you about is what are you laughing at?
The way Caleb worked his way around to that.
Yeah. Well, no,
he answered his own question, and then he questioned his question. His answer.
I catch rats when the fishing sucks, and whenever it doesn't, I'm usually catching solid fish.
Well, and that ties in with what I was going to ask you and Dean, Scott, because are you talking about because a school, they all tend to kind of be the same size. A school or drifting is what I thought of, because drifting, you could drift out of, let's say, a couple of rat reds here and there, and then all of a sudden you drift into another area and then it's bigger fish. You know what I mean?
I just don't have a lot of experience with small redfish. We should kick this to Scott and Dean early.
Oh, brother.
I knew that was coming. On the flats in my area, particularly, as you're drifting vast differences, it is not uncommon to catch a couple rats, then catch an upper slot, back to a rat, because you're not focused in one area. But yes, if you see a school, typically that school is going to be all the same size. But for my style in my bay, it could be anything on any cast. So yeah, I do find big ones intermingled with smaller ones.
The only time I've seen it where
you think it is, ain't it, Dean?
It depends on where you're at. I mean, so from where you're at, Matagorda and like up in Galveston, I would think it would be much different than the flats of South Texas.
Don't you put the difficulty of answering this question on me just because I'm from Matagorda and Galveston?
I mean, you got me questioning my own self.
We're all questioning ourselves.
It seemed like a really easy question.
That's why you're coming to the podcast, baby. You can't get this anywhere.
Now, when I see schools of fish together, like tailing fish, they're all the same size. They're all within an inch of each other. The only time I really see mixed schools is when you have that real, the big drop that we always talk about, in the fall, where all the water drops out of the marsh and they all go into a deeper hole. Then they'll get all mixed up, and you can throw into that hole that's full of redfish. Ain't no telling what you're going to pull out of there. It could be an oversized, it could be, little bitty small ones. But as they scatter back out, they tend to group up and stay in like-minded schools, pretty close to the same size, just like trout.
Have you ever seen rat red schooled?
Yeah.
I haven't. I've never seen that.
Oh, no, I've seen it a lot. I've seen them tailing.
Well, yes, I was going to say school or tailing, because I've seen them tailing.
Like I'm talking like 15, 16-inch reds. I don't even think I've ever seen them grouped up.
Yeah, last year I had tons of those out on those flats where me and you shot the video. Had lots and lots of them all spring. They were 12, 13, 14-inch long fish, and they were tailing together. It was kind of funny because the water was just deep enough where they couldn't actually tail where you could see it. But you just see the water kind of moving, and then look over there and you see the flashes of the tails. I've seen them as small as 6, 8 inches tailing in some of the back marshes, some of the areas that I go poling in. But redfish. Redfish. They're going to do redfish things, even when they're little.
So it's clearly like, and those are 3 good examples of when you might, catch some big ones with some smaller ones. And I'm just interested in Dean's comment here about seeing a weather balloon and monitor box fall out of the sky and hit the water. When was that?
Man, it was a couple years ago, and Danny up above, he said the strangest thing he found was a NOAA weather balloon. Yeah, we were out there drifting and fishing, and straight from the sky, what was left of this foil balloon and this monitor box, it was like a PVC container, boom, hits the water right. I mean, it was less than 50 yards from the boat. And we were like, what? It actually had an address and data to return it. So I put it in a box and sent it to wherever it was going. But
Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one land out here on the property a few years ago. I was out there working on the tractor, and I just look up and see something falling out of the sky. And,
sky's falling.
Yeah, went over, found it, same thing. I went, took it to the post office and sent it back.
See, if you think that's exciting, shoot a bobcat and go pick it up and find out it has an A&M tracking collar on it.
Oh Lord.
I didn't know what to do with it. So,
I'm guessing you didn't put the whole bobcat in a box and send it
Yeah.
back.
You should have went through it in Scott's yard.
I went and put the collar in my barn, so I thought, well, it's probably out of batteries or something.
Well,
And about a week and a half later, some Aggies showed up and said they've been tracking a bobcat and it hadn't moved very much recently. Over there on that picnic table, sir.
It was moving, and it was really still for a little while, and then it moved really fast. And then
Did you tell him you shot it? Yeah, you told him you shot it.
Yeah, I mean, with it, I really couldn't come up with anything else, John.
That was it. Shot it. Oh boy. All right. So here's one on trout, green water. Everybody talks about trout, green water. Got a couple of good questions. I like this one as well. This was actually, this one was not a question. This is something I came across. The next one's a question. So I came across this. I forget what website it was, but it was a study about Gulf Coast game fish, and I kind of want to dig in on this one in terms of how much they rely on their vision over the lateral lines. You know, the scent, etc. So they ranked them, how much they rely on vision. I'm wondering if there's something that our listeners can get out of this in terms of, remember when Caleb talked about we should fish docks more for snook and all that. They're very, they're very vision oriented. So the game fish that relies the most on vision as opposed to lateral lines and scent is speckled trout. Second most is snook. Then they go in order: tarpon, redfish, flounder, black drum. And maybe we would have ranked them the same. Maybe we would have ranked them differently. But this study said that speckled trout 1, snook 2 rely on their vision. So, and you guys have heard me talking about this on the podcast. I always compare trout to tigers. Like they lay in the weeds, something comes by, and then boom, they attack and they pounce. So this isn't necessarily like breaking news for stuff that we know, and you guys know, especially, being on the water. But I'm wondering if it tells you anything about like what you might be throwing in different light conditions, because it did say that trout especially have the best vision, but generally it's about outlines and shadows. They can't like distinguish what color shirt you're wearing or whatever, but they're the best vision. And I wanted to put this in there. This is a Scott Knoll word. They're crepuscular feeders.
I went with crepuscular on that one. Well, I was reading the right
crepuscular. Now. I'll go with crepuscular feeders. So what that means is they're sensitive to light, but they have great vision, and that's why structure, streaks, dawn, dusk, cloudy days, nighttime, trout can be plentiful. So I'm wondering, and Scott, you are a resident scientist, or you play one on the radio here on the podcast, scientist. Does this tell you anything about why we're throwing what we're throwing and what works the best?
I don't know how they asked them.
Yeah, I was going to ask Scott, do you buy any of this? Because I don't. Either those other fish have some terrible eyesight, or I wouldn't think trout would be the number one that use their eyes to eat.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have leaned that way on that.
I think I read the whole thing, and what they did. Obviously, these fish were not living, but they took into account the size of their cornea, the cone on their eyes, and put the science together, and they said trout 1, snook 2. Yeah. Does that tell you anything about what we're throwing and everything? Because I started thinking about like popping corks, top waters, you know,
See,
that kind
snook, I get it, because like a lot of them are just laying there waiting to ambush something, like,
of.
and they're typically in clean water. Trout,
And so also, it is the location of the eye on their head. If you look at a speckled trout, their eyes are closer to the top of their head where they look forward and up. Redfish are very much on the side. And I have a really good book around here on fish biology somewhere that actually details a fish's vision. And supposedly they can see color very well. But the way I remember it is the cells on their retina. So as
I saw that was in
as
there.
it comes through, they have very good what's it where you see things out on the edge of your vision? Peripheral, yes.
Yeah.
So they see very much across the periphery opposed to focusing on one small area. That's how they can see, you know, shrimp and things that blend in very well with their natural environment. They can pick up those in the periphery and zero in on them. But yes, the reason trout are ambush feeders, they feed from below and behind. That is because of where their eyes are on their head, and their mouth also opens more to the top of their head. The redfish, their mouth is on the bottom of their head, normally a bottom feeder, even though we hit a lot of them on top water. But when you see a redfish that hits top water, you're going to see that fish come out of the water and pounce on it, or they're going to roll on it sideways. They're going to turn over and eat it sideways because of that. So, and then the trout, of course, you hear that slurp when they hit. That's because of the way their mouth is on the more on the front top of their head. Whenever they put their head up, they open their mouth, it creates that little vacuum there.
Yeah, but Scott, it was interesting, and Dean just touched on it. You know, the outline is what they see of the shrimp as they blend in, and that's what this study said. So it's very similar to what Dean said. Like in bright lights, like the trout green waters, how this started. Like you know, you really have to look more for the structure and the streaks and the gray areas. It's not just that they're pouncing like tigers; they can see better in those because it's more of the outline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. The only one I'll really agree with is the black drum.
They can't see.
I mean, I keep looking back at it. You know, tarpon, they can see pretty damn well too. I mean, they pick up on little bitty stuff. You know, they got huge eyes. You know, redfish, they're digging in the dirt and they're finding their food. You know,
but that might be scent. That might be more scent.
I mean, when a shrimp jumps out of the grass, they are on it in a heartbeat. So
okay, so which also provokes another question. Black drum have those little tentacle, there's little feelers on their chin too. How does that play into scent or vibration? Because black drum like vacuum cleaners. I mean, they just go around sucking up little dead crap off the bottom.
Flounder, I mean, how else? I mean, flounder's not just going. Only way he going to feed is by sight.
I feel like a flounder got to be like top of the list.
Well,
they're laying down there on the bottom, looking up all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Yeah, of course they're looking at shadows and silhouettes from the bottom, looking up. But one thing I did see is interesting. When you were talking about that, you said speckled trout can't see the colors and they can't distinguish the color. So why we got all these different colored lures?
that was my next question. That was my next question.
Dean's book has all kinds of stuff in it about like we see pink, the trout see, I can't remember what it was, tan or something. Like they see colors differently than we do.
Well, it is the key word in the explanation of the way they see was contrast. What they see is contrast. So whenever you have say like a strawberry soft plastic and a chartreuse tail, the contrast in those two colors as it's moving through the water is something that they key on. So here's an interesting one. Black drum use their whiskers or barbels on their chin to find food by both touch and smell. They swim along the seafloor with their head down, using these sensory organs to detect prey hidden in the sediment. So, I mean, that is a fish that is not using its vision to find its food.
No, but at the same time, you use all of them. I mean, the lateral lines
Yeah.
are very integral. The scent is
Oh,
very
I mean,
integral.
look,
Yeah.
they can fish, they can eat in the pitch black dark of the depths. They
Mhm.
can still, they don't see those things, they feel them. And that is, the lateral line is another very interesting thing. Every scale down the length of that fish on their lateral line has little fibers, little hairs that sense vibration. So it is actually like an ear that extends the length of their body. And if you look at a redfish, if you look at a speckled trout, their lateral line extends to the very tip of their tail. It's really more obvious in a redfish. You can see it, it goes right through the tail. But yes, a lot of good science on how they feel, how they feed. But from what I remember, they also see colors very well. It was just not
it's not the same colors we
focused
see.
in one spot. It was a broad field of view.
But
that
the thing that was interesting to me, Caleb, is how I am about fishing streaks, especially when I was down in Matagorda and Sabine. I love fishing streaks, and it just made sense to me that they can see real well, but it's not just the cover, it's what they see in those streaks. Same thing with dawn and dusk. How many times have you been out there, at all afternoon, then at dusk it turns on? Is that because it's a feeding time, or is it because they can actually see more?
I think it has a lot to do with the water cooling off, and I mean, I can't hang with this guy. They can see more thing. Although I'll digress. Maybe that's the word. Tell me later.
Acknowledge.
I have been in places like Baffin, areas where I can see really well, and I've been walking to Corky, and I have watched trout come from 15 feet away and straight to it and smash it. So I would like to think they saw that more than they felt that, right?
You would think, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I need some time on a lawnmower to really absorb this.
This is why we're here,
And
man.
see, I was actually thinking that they would have heard that splash and they would have felt it and then come and find it.
I'd cast way out, and for me to be able to see it, that lure's 30 feet away from me. I was just walking along. It has a rattle in it. The hooks and stuff are rattling. It's just walking along, but they came from 15, 20 feet away because I mean, a couple of them were good, and I'm already talking trash before they hit it. I'm watching them come at it at like a high clip of speed, like a little torpedo.
And so there's also low frequency noise, and that's what the knocker does inside the lure. You have so the low frequencies travel much farther distances in water, and so they can hear it further.
I guess a popping cork's low frequency, probably.
Hey, you see, you're in my head, because that's what I was going to talk to Scott about. What do tournament red fishermen, especially in murky water, like to throw? Popping cork. And redfish can see. And none of these fish are blind. He was ranking. This study was ranking.
Oh, y'all want to hear about a blind fish?
Yes, I'll go back to this. I got to hear about the blind fish.
This absolutely digresses.
I said none of them are blind. This one was blind, and I got to hear about it.
And it was so freaky. I should have taken a picture of it, but it freaked me out so bad. All I wanted to do was get the fish out of the boat. Just like a couple of days ago this week, dude was on the boat fishing, throwing a topwater. Boom, gets blown up. He pulls in a ladyfish, a skipjack. And when we're looking at one side of it, and his eyeball is gone. I mean, it was eaten out. You were looking in the brain, the cranium cavity. You could see, and I was like, whoa, man, that's nasty. And then we turned it around to take the hook out. The other eye was gone. This was a zombie skipjack. It was the nastiest looking thing. And man, I took the pliers. I was like, get this thing out of here. But this was a totally blind skipjack that looked like fish been eaten on its head. I mean, it was
what happened to that thing?
Afterwards, I was like, man, I should have took a picture of that, because nobody, and hopefully, I forget who it was this week, but he does tune into the podcast. Maybe he'll chime in here later. But yes, completely blind and hit a damn topwater. So
I haven't seen
explain
Dean
that.
I haven't seen Dean that excited in a long time.
Oh,
Hey, you
man,
want to hear about a
I'm
blind
so
fish?
glad I got a chance to tell that story.
We are too. But so Scott, and again, I'm just asking questions here because this is all interesting to me. You guys know me by now. I always dig in on crap like this. But so clear water, murky water, wavy water, and you're in a tournament. A lot of tournament fishermen throw that gulp under a popping cork. It kind of tracked for me, in terms of maybe they don't have the best vision in the world, but the sound and the smell can attract the redfish.
I mean, the sound of a popping cork is the sound of feeding fish.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding fish bring other fish around to see what they're eating. They hear that pop, then there's a gulp laying there underneath it. Works. The other thing that we used a lot was spinner baits. And I use the hell out of them up on the upper coast in Louisiana and that dirtier water. I got so used to using them that I went down there Dean's territory and decided I'd throw them down there. Scared the hell out of every redfish around. I mean, they absolutely fled from those. They did not like it, not one bit. I think it was just too much noise and too much flash for them. They didn't like it one bit.
Yeah, but in the clear water in Louisiana, they'll jump all over one. Dean's fish are just stupid.
Well, I'll tell you, people ask about topwaters, the sizes and stuff. And I throw the Spook Junior. It is smaller and it does make less noise. It doesn't have a really loud knock to it. And so, of course, in the muddy water, they got the he dogs, she dogs, big ones with like really big knocker inside of it that makes a really loud noise. And those, in 1 foot of crystal clear water, those are not as effective as a smaller topwater
because of the size.
It's just, it's unnatural. I don't know why it will spook fish. It will actually run them off. It's too noisy. It's too big. It's just too much. And so that is the reason in the ultra shallow crystal clear, I do prefer a much smaller topwater.
See, and I think that plays into the spinners too, Dean, because the fish from like you all the way down to Mansfield don't like spinners, but they're usually in pretty shallow water. It's clear. You go to Louisiana where it's shallow water, but it's 4 feet deep and it doesn't bother them a bit. I think the shallower something is, the more likely that you can spook it. And I don't know why. Maybe they feel
and it goes back to the beginning of this conversation. They see it, the noise gets their attention. They're intrigued. They come to investigate it. And then, then they decide what they're going to do with it at that point when they actually see it.
Yeah. And Chris points out that Scott made it very clear he likes the big knocker, not just one. Just
That was Dean talking about that.
Well, that was Dean.
I was trying to glaze over that. I knew it wasn't going to get away.
I was waiting for Caleb to jump on it.
I've actually Dean's used the word knocker 4 times today, and I was more marveled at that because I don't think I've ever heard him say it before.
As soon as I said it, I was like, there should have been a better choice of words.
And again, even after I read it and I knew I wanted to talk about it with you guys, just get your thoughts. I don't know how much it's going to change anything I do, but maybe it explains a little bit. The speckled trout with the best vision. Are y'all? Scott's not buying it. Are y'all buying it?
Yeah. I mean, they may have the best vision. The other one just might suck more. But as far as relying on the vision and using it to feed the trout, using that more than the other ones, I don't buy on that.
And I think the placement of their eyes plays into the way they feed. And I mean, that is eons of evolution in those species of fish on how they feed, where they live. I mean, they're instinctually driven creature. There's no creativity out there in the fish world. All they do is look for something to eat and plan on making baby fish. So they're very specific to their behavior. But yeah, I mean, trout, the way they're built, just their body, they're built for speed.
They're sleek.
Their
Yeah.
eyes are on top of their head. The way the mouth opens, they are ambush feeders.
And it did say, Scott, it did say, sorry, Caleb, but it did say tarpon, the size of their eyes are what really kind of set them apart from all the fish out there. You know,
Yeah, they got a huge eye. You know, even the small ones got a big old eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that they'd be more likely to have better vision. You know, I mean, I know they see a little bitty fly. I mean, those big ass tarpon notice a little bitty fly out in the big ocean.
Yeah.
And as John mentioned, their scientific name translates to big eye.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Cargus said that the definition is active at the edges of the day, dawn, and dusk.
Mm-hmm.
And he used quotation marks, so I think he's like real confident.
Yeah, well, it was in that piece. It was in that piece.
If John says something about something like that,
he's confident. Yeah,
he don't BS, man.
Megalops means big-eyed.
Megalops.
The tarpon the tarpon genius. I think that's Guinness or genius. I've never seen that word. It's close to genius.
Say that again.
Like Guinness.
Oh Lord. Okay. So anyway,
that word.
Yeah, say it again.
Guinness. It's genius without the I or Guinness. This one of the two.
Could that be genus, by the way?
I said that without the I.
All right. Speaking of lures, got a nice text from Mark Nichols, our guy over at DOA. He's sending a mess of lures over to Scott for us, for you and us at the Feeding Frenzy. Speaking of knockers, the knock and tail, Mike Acrylic is going to send we've already got them a bunch for that. So we're going to have lures like crazy, and the color may or may not matter. What's that?
Some of those might even make it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of shrimp. I need some shrimps.
Oh yeah, we got some more of those coming as well, I think. All right, so I mentioned the Lower Colorado River Authority last week, and just a quick little hit here for them, just because they, I was talking about them, and they were talking about some of the no boat, no problem things that they have, and they can offer some of our listeners. All right, here we go. Another topic before we get to what would Scott do, what would Caleb do, what would Dean do, and it has to do. All right, so I guess I got to start it with this. The topic is when water temperatures begin to lower. What are some sure signs that patterns might be changing? Like bait moving to open water, freshwater pushes, etc. So I got to start here though. Can you put a timeline on that? I know y'all are in 3 different areas along the coast. Do you generally have a timeline, or are you just watching the water in terms of, okay, maybe this is the start of something and a change in pattern, Dean?
What was the question? I was reading. I was so hoping that you were not going to go to me first. I was like, what pattern? Like the fall pattern? Is that where it started?
I want to let you twist in the wind a little bit before I give you the actual question.
I caught the pattern. How do we know what pattern?
Yeah. See, again, you can get this nowhere else but the Bite Me podcast. So
I was focused on the comments.
Don't call on me.
So is there a timeline, or are you just watching the weather, or are you watching the water temps? Because the question, the question is, what are there any signs that you think, because there's going to be anyway, a couple of cooler days here and there, but that doesn't mean anything. Like when's it going to be meaningful that maybe some things are going to start changing?
Well, as the days get shorter, you expect those things to start changing. The most obvious sign is when the mullets start rafting up, when it looks like a mullet circus out there, when it's just noisy, you hear them jumping, splashing, and the duration of that activity lasts past the first 30 minutes of the crack of dawn. Whenever you can see those things throughout the day, then you'll find places across the flats where there's just a river of mullet streaming across the flats. Then you know that we've got to that point to where they're consistently changing. And the conversation every day on the boat is it's coming. You know, you start looking for those things, but the water temperature is still 80 plus degrees. But we have teal flying. My backyard is just loaded with hummingbirds. I've seen ospreys on the bay. Those are signs that things are moving.
That's a good answer right there. You covered a lot of good stuff, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you pulled it out. You pulled it out in the end there. the osprey, the bait, all that. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Well, okay.
I'm actually going to go to Caleb next, because the other one for me, when I was in Sabine and Matagorda, you start getting some of these freshwater pushes, because that's going to move fish and bait too, along with the temperature. Or are you not down with that?
You watch Facebook and Instagram and pictures. That'll tell you when the fall's
Follow
here.
Caleb, Dean, and Scott.
Yeah. Last year when we tried to talk about the stuff that signified the fall, we had people telling us we was stupid. So let's do it again, because we had great fun with that.
That's right. I forgot about that.
It'll happen again.
Yeah. It's the pushes, man.
That's what mine were up there.
The big fall tides, the fall tides get a lot of stuff going. They start flooding the back and getting everything real good and full of water. And I mean, you don't see the results until you got the big pushes that push it the other way. But it starts getting there, and like Dean said, the days are getting shorter. Today wasn't as hot. The water temperatures slowly start coming down, and then sometime in the next month, 4 weeks. We're September, right? September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometime in the next 4 weeks, we're gonna get the first little baby cool front, and it's gonna get down in the 70s, maybe a little bit of upper 60s, and everybody's gonna get real excited. But again, that's just the saying that it's coming. Until those big fronts come with the big northwest and the 40s and 50s, where that's everything between now and there is just getting started. So the big tides, bait. I've been seeing a lot of smaller bait already, but it isn't doing the big thing where it's getting washed out of the marsh. It's just starting to get present. And ospreys and butterflies in the yard and stuff like that, like you said.
Hummingbirds.
Yeah.
So Scott, anything that they missed in terms of signs and maybe and by the way, Caleb touched on this. Go ahead.
Football season's a good sign.
Football season's a good one. Good to mention the Aggies again. Anyway, water temps. Caleb mentioned it. They're not dropping significantly, but they are slowly kind of pushing down. Yeah.
I found 86 on the beachfront today, and it's been well into the 90s. So, there is a drop going on out there. I mean, the days are getting shorter, so there's not as much sunshine on it, so it's got to drop a little bit. But for me, it's always that there's one morning when you walk out there and that cool fronts come in overnight, and it's that dry, cool air, and that's when I start getting fired up for the fall fishing and getting ready to go play with the redfish and everything. But all the little signs, like I said, right outside my window here is probably 100 hummingbirds on the feeders. It's happening. Hummingbirds start showing up. All the ducks start showing up. The deer are getting frisky. I saw some good bucks the other day out running around over here. It's just everything knows it's coming. And then we all get excited on the first cold front, and then we get our second summer. And second summer usually will last into November. And then it'll get cold. But mostly with the water temperatures going down, you're going to see the oxygen levels going up. And the oxygen levels go up, the fish get friskier. You can notice it when you catch a fish. When that water does finally cool off and you get a little bit of oxygen in there, they fight different. These fish right now, you go out there and catch a redfish on the flats, even in September, they're not real frisky. They'll fight a little bit, and then they kind of roll up and give up. And then you got to give them a little extra to get them going. That won't be happening here in a few weeks. They'll hit it and take off. It'll fool you in the beginning, because all of a sudden, man, you get, 22, 23-inch red takes off, and you think you got an upper slaughter and over. But I think it's more about the water temperature and just the oxygen.
Yeah, and then the big tides play a lot into that. The big ripping incoming tides, they're pushing cooler water from the near shore in. They're pushing more oxygenated stuff in. Did we go through this whole damn thing without a hurricane this summer?
Hush your mouth, man.
Florida didn't get a hurricane. Bahamas, Mexico, nobody.
That's crazy,
Dude.
That is
What-
nuts.
What
Yeah,
Al
we're just now at the peak of hurricane season.
I know that's literally this week. Literally this week.
The historical peak is, we just kind of eased past that peak.
Yeah, we'll
But
just
if
go
you-
right back.
If you notice, I mean, we did have a front that had pretty well sustained. It didn't get cold, but it was north wind. I mean, the jet stream in general is pushing everything from the north now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We
but
had
yeah,
a huge amount of
the
wind
fact that
shear.
we've gone through all of summer with
Nothing.
is just, I mean, and that goes to show you nobody knows what the hell is going to happen out there.
You think it's because the government knows that we was on to them last year for making hurricanes?
No, they've been out there spraying stuff on the clouds to make it not happen. You see, when them contrails come out of them airplanes, that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. Yeah. All right. So what would Scott do? What would Caleb do? What would Dean do? Well, they're all going to be at the Feeding Frenzy on Saturday. But some of them are going to be fishing. I'm going to be fishing in the Freedom Boats tournament on Saturday morning. So I'm already going to start making my excuses because I'm not going to fish very long on Saturday morning because we got stuff to do to get set up. But we'll be out there with my two sons. Looking good, man. Looking good for the event. Looking good for fishing. Dean, I know you're going to be out. You've been out there. So I am going to start with you in terms of don't give away all my best spots because it's tournament time. But what would you do this week?
I'm going to drop pins on the map to anybody who asks me where John's going to be fishing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, man, it's, and like I said at the beginning, the tide is up so good. And the situation is it is high in the morning and that should continue through the end of the week and just dropping like a rock throughout the day.
Mhm.
So it's kind of, what you sit there when you ask, well, what are you looking for? What would be your perfect day? These are my perfect days. Super high tide, east, southeast wind, dropping like crazy all day, hit the shallows super early, hit the drop-offs a little later. It has still been, though, if you are targeting speckled trout, you want to hit those drop-offs first at the crack of dawn. If trout are your goal, they are more active at the crack of dawn. You can go to those places later in the day, but you're going to catch a whole bunch of 12-inch fish. They're just, the big ones get much lazier later in the day. We're in between. It's still summerish where the first 2 hours of morning are the part that gets me excited. From there, you're just working hard the rest of the day. So, but if you're targeting reds or if you expect redfish, hit those flats up against the bushes. If you want that trout, hit the deeper water first.
Yeah, and that's deeper water is a good transition, Caleb. There's some deeper places. You too, Scott, but Caleb, there's some deeper places. Is that something you're looking at a little more? Because I used, about this time of year, I used to maybe think the water might be just a touch cooler in some of those deeper areas.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the deeper areas is the main go-to. We're kind of having the cooler night, so early in the morning on the flats, wading could certainly be a good thing. Now, I think Dean pretty well said everything we need to say. So let's do this. Let's do this little exercise. Let's talk about what we've learned over the process of this show.
Yeah, we could do that every week because
We've learned that trout have spent thousands of years evolving to be able to see better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're top of the, I can see it. They've got the mouth made for slurping a top water, all this stuff. And a trout can miss your top water 9 out of 10 times, but a blind skipjack will nail that sucker. That's my takeaway from today.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong on that.
It's been a very educational program.
What we're here for, man. It's what we're here for. All right, Scott, anything to add?
Yeah, I really kind of wanted to go tarpon fishing on Thursday. I got Mike Jones and Austin Thomas coming, but Austin gets seasick apparently because when he was out with Parkoff and them, he didn't do real well. And
Oh no.
I don't think he really wants to go back out there and bounce around like that. I mean, I'm kind of wanting to do it to him just because, but
Yeah.
I think instead we're going to go ahead and go poling and go chase some redfish. Everybody I've been talking to that does the poling stuff and up shallow, they've been finding plenty of reds. They've been schooled up. Dean loves the high water. I hate the high water for that. Yeah, I want that water lower so I can get into those places and see the fish. These super high waters, I got so many damn trees around here. There's dead mangroves everywhere back in the back, and those fish just disappear off into that stuff. Make it real hard on me. I'd really rather it drop on out, but it ain't going to. So
Yeah,
I'll deal with what I got.
yeah. Well, all right, fellas. We will see you guys on. Well, I'll be there Thursday, but we'll see you guys on Saturday for sure. And maybe Friday we'll get together. Got a lot of planning and putting together packages and stuff Friday, and I got to get up for fishing. But that's a premeditated excuse to not do anything Friday night. But we'll see. We might get out there a little bit. But you guys, man, looking forward to this weekend. Anybody listening, come on down. Like I said earlier, it's going to be a big event. It's always a lot of fun. The food's going to be fantastic. We're going to have plenty of stuff there, plenty of items. Go to the group page and you can see exactly what I'm talking about in terms of live and silent auction items. I did the raffle stuff earlier in the week. You can check that out. And we're excited. We'll see you guys down there. Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, tell everybody how to get the raffle tickets for the boat. I had Stephen Owens was on the boat today with me, and he was asking about whether he had to be there or not. And
oh yeah, let's go through that.
How you could get the raffle tickets.
All right, so you can get the raffle tickets on the Bite Me group page. Go to on the phone, it's called featured. On your laptop, it's called pinned, I think. Go to the top of the group page and scroll through there, and it'll have links for the RSVP for the event and the raffle tickets for the event. And we did decide, there was a question about this on the group page as well. For the boat, you need not be present to win. Online tickets, you can't make it. You don't need to be present to win. Last year's winner was not present to win, and won, I should say. For all the other raffle items, we've decided you do need to be present to win. We're going to draw from those tickets that are there, simply because, I mean, it's more for like how are you going to get these things? We're going to have to ship a kayak. I know well, the kayak's a live auction item, but like we're going to have to ship a smart charger from no. For those other raffle items, you do need to be present to win. For all the live auction items, and you can see them, like I said, all the silent auction items, you can pick them up right there and get going. So I'm glad you brought that up. Other than that, book our guys. You can cut it up with them, chop it up with them on Saturday. You have something else? Oh, I thought you raised your hand, Scott. Anyway,
we did have a phone bidder last year in the live auction.
So we sure did.
If somebody wants to do that, I mean, I can accommodate.
Yeah. Then you'll see all the, like, let's say the trip to Costa Rica. There's a trip to Costa Rica. It's a live auction item. I really want to go, but I can't be there. Call somebody there. Call one of us. Message us. We'll get your number, and you can bid as we're there. So that's all good stuff. All right, fellas. Very good show, and really appreciate everybody coming out. We're looking forward to it. Good weather. We'll have a great time. I promise you. Until then, you guys have a great week, great weekend. Catch it up. We'll talk to you next time.
Dean's still thinking about Big Knock.